Crime has a way of leaving a mark, both on its victims and on those left behind seeking justice. Some cases seem destined to remain unsolved, their mysteries locked away in silence and dust. However, history has shown that even the most perplexing crimes can be cracked open by a stroke of luck, a piece of overlooked evidence, or the relentless determination of those who refuse to let the truth stay buried. Here are 7 chilling cases that seemed impossible to solve until they weren't. Case 1. The Vanishing Heiress. In 1987, socialite Eleanor Whitmore disappeared without a trace. For decades, her case baffled detectives, with no body and no clear suspects. The breakthrough came when a retired journalist stumbled upon a forgotten letter in an estate sale. The letter, written by a former housemaid, detailed a secret affair between Eleanor and a man named Richard Langley. Investigators reopened the case, and DNA evidence found in Langley's abandoned cabin confirmed that Eleanor had been murdered there. Further investigations revealed that Langley had kept detailed journals of his illicit activities, including disturbing notes about Eleanor's last moments. His writings showed an elaborate plan to dispose of her body in a remote marshland, leading authorities to finally locate skeletal remains matching Eleanor's dental records. Though Langley had passed away years before, the new evidence brought long overdue closure to her family. Case 2. The Silent Witness. A brutal 1994 murder left a small town in fear. Lucy Barnes was found lifeless in her home, with no forced entry and no fingerprints. The case went cold until a forensics expert revisited the evidence 20 years later. A pet parrot that had been in the house at the time of the murder had imitated the last words spoken before the attack. Sound analysis software matched the voice to a family acquaintance who later confessed. Upon deeper investigation, police discovered old phone records indicating that the murderer had made several calls to Lucy in the weeks leading up to her death. Lucy had been blackmailing him over a past crime he had committed, and in a desperate attempt to silence her, he staged a break-in. The parrot's unexpected mimicry of their final conversation unraveled his years-long deception. Case 3. The Lost Boy. In 2002, 6-year-old Jake Sullivan vanished from his backyard. Years passed, and hope faded, until a social worker in another state noted striking similarities between Jake and a teenage boy in foster care. A DNA test confirmed his identity. His abductor, a neighbor who had moved states away and assumed a new identity, was arrested. Jake's story became even more harrowing when investigators discovered he had been forced to live under strict rules, forbidden from talking about his past. His captor, a former teacher with a dark past, had kept meticulous records of his psychological manipulation tactics. With therapy and support, Jake gradually regained lost memories, which became crucial in securing a conviction for his abductor, who had been linked to other missing children cases. Case 4. The Cryptic Message. An unidentified woman's body, discovered in a remote forest in 1998, bore only one clue: a cryptic note in her pocket reading TAR 714. Investigators hit dead ends until, years later, a linguistic expert recognized the sequence as a code used in an underground gambling ring. Authorities linked the woman to a high-stakes poker player who had vanished under suspicious circumstances. Through casino surveillance archives, investigators tracked her movements, leading to a ring of criminals who had lured victims into high-stakes games, only to eliminate them when they failed to pay debts. Undercover agents finally infiltrated the operation, leading to multiple arrests and an international investigation into underground gambling syndicates. Case 5. The Frozen Clue. A 1976 double homicide remained unsolved for decades, despite multiple investigations. The victims, a married couple, were found in their remote cabin, seemingly with no motive or suspect. Then, during a routine evidence review, a small ice crystal was noticed in the preserved crime scene photos. A forensic analysis revealed that the couple had been poisoned with a rare chemical that only a handful of scientists had access to. One such scientist, now in his 80s, was confronted and ultimately confessed to the murders over a financial dispute. Further research uncovered that he had orchestrated the crime meticulously, using a timed release of the poison within their home's heating system, ensuring their deaths appeared natural. With the advancements in forensic science, the truth finally emerged, leading to his conviction even in his final years. Case 6. The Art Heist Killer. A celebrated artist was found dead in his studio in 1995, his masterpiece stolen. The crime scene was staged to look like a robbery gone wrong, but no leads emerged. Years later, an art collector,